All right, morning. Couldn't sleep. Shocking, right? So I'm just sitting here fucking around on the YouTube, and JD Vance was on, my feed. Clicked on it, and I could only last about 2 or 3 minutes. And I'm not gonna lie, gang, that was the longest 9 months of my life. And and again, for right off the bat, again, if you are watching this across the pond, hi. And two, you're like, again, why should this affect me? You need to be disturbed. I told you, as America goes, the rest of the world goes. But it's just, how is this our current political situation? And I guess I'm old enough because maybe today's young ones, like what seems to be the reality. Isn't this the way it's always been? No, no, no. And I made a video about this a while back, and it's just we live in a time to where verified facts are now just as valid as absolute intellectual dog shit. Things that wouldn't have even seen the light of day back in 1980, 1990 are now things that are front page news. Again, I'm not one of these people who'll tell you that all of the internet is bad and all of social media is bad, but that's one of the bad parts. Again, there are things that once upon a time, if you held these beliefs, no one would know. And if someone found out, you would be drummed out of civilized conversation. No one would invite you to the party. Now you get to run for president. You think I'm bullshitting? Right? Just so you got it. Again, I think I should, this is going to be a repeater, but go fuck yourselves. This cannot be real. I found out the hard way that Blockbuster Video had the ability to track you down, and it's more than what you think. Long time ago, my then brother-in-law checked out a video on my account, which I was aware of. But what I learned was if you do not turn in that video in X amount of time, it's no longer delinquent. They will accuse you of stealing their property. They've got your credit card on file. And back then, I don't think I'm exaggerating when I tell you it was like a $200 charge. That's not it. Blockbuster also had the ability to put a negative mark on your credit rating. That was Blockbuster Video. Yeah, it took some time to straighten that shit out and then chew my brother-in-law out. My point is that was Blockbuster Video. It was only in the early 2000s to where the conspiracy theory that Barack Obama was not born in the United States got to such a fevered pitch that the president of the United States, the most powerful man in the free world, had to stop what he was doing and hold a press conference to show his birth certificate. Okay, America has got its wrinkles, it's got its shortcomings, but for the crowd that wants to sit there, America, love it or leave it, we're the best ever. You also believe that we're so fucking incompetent? Not just a basic background check on the would be president, but let's just see if the motherfucker was born here. Is that what you actually believe? But we live in a day and an age to where that type of bullshit is just as legitimate as saying water is wet and fire is hot. We actually had to address that. That is embarrassing, gang. It is embarrassing. And the fuck again, if these people were running for PTA president, I wouldn't give a shit. We would have never known JD Vance's or Donald Trump's name. Marjorie Taylor Greene, all these, Laura Loomer. But this is my reality. This is your reality. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, I was like, what's the difference? I may act like I'm 109, but I'm only 51. And in my short life, I have seen an evolution that I do not approve of. And I think it's because for the first time ever, we are going up against a group of people who aren't just not afraid to lose, they're jerking off to it. How do you hate someone who already hates themselves? How do you take pleasure in beating someone up who can't wait for you to dislocate their jaw? And I'm only going to say this once because I don't want this video flagged and lose another channel, but it's like going against a suicide bomber. When someone's battle cry is quite literally, "I love death more than you love life," you're fucked, son. To quote noted historians and philosophers, House of Pain, "Pack it up, pack it in." Do you have that level of commitment? Very few people do. And to me, that's what this is. And we're not going to say the S word anymore. So we're just going to, pancakes. We're fighting pancakes. How do you fight someone with that level of commitment? People who don't know what the bottom actually is, right? Things that were once considered massive insults are now sources of national pride. Think about again, whether you liked them or whether you hated them. Ronald Reagan. Remember how proud of a man Ronald Reagan was? Remember how prim and proper, and never mind the rumors that apparently she's the throat goat. She gives better blowjobs than most porn stars. Remember how prim and proper Nancy Reagan was? We never even saw that bitch's neck. She always had those big fucked up ass. She looked like a great grandmother at the age of 41, right? Remember how prim and proper that couple was? Well, just rewind back to the Ronald Reagan years. If you were to call his supporters deplorable, they would have worked double time to make sure that they didn't earn that label. Every man, Reagan supporter, every Republican back then would have driven straight to the barbershop and gotten a buzz cut and a clean shave, ironed their shirt, right? Now you call people deplorable, like, oh, thank you. They have t-shirts. It's a hashtag. Hillary Clinton called Donald Trump supporters deplorables. They wear it as like, thank you very much. Once upon a time, you would have worked your ass off to show people that you weren't a deplorable. Now they're like, way to go. That's what I'm saying. We're fighting pancakes. We're fighting people that have got no bottom. They he's like, how dirty, excuse that. What the fuck was that? How dirty, how filthy can I actually get? That's why we're in the spot that we're in. I mean, pick one. The attempt on Donald, the first one. Now, I don't hold on to conspiracy theory. It's a waste of my time. But this is a conversation I'm actually willing to have. I truly wonder how legit that first attempt was, the one that nicked his ear. Again, not a conspiracy theorist, but this is definitely a conversation I'm willing to have. I told y'all, I'm not educated on guns, but the best description I've ever heard of AR-15, it is a meat cleaver. It's it takes meat off a bone. It destroys. Period. End of story. This isn't what you use for a precise hit. This is I want as little left of that whatever I'm shooting at. Just pulverize it. Either that was a setup, or you want to talk. It was like the Randy Johnson fastball. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look that shit up on YouTube. And they literally had mathematicians run the numbers as like you could set that scenario up 1 billion times and he wouldn't be able to repeat it. Randy Johnson threw a fastball, and quite literally 5 feet before it hit the catcher's mitt, a bird flew in front of it and he blew up the bird, blew it up. There was nothing left. He just all this of feathers, died instantly. That is the odds of an AR-15 bullet nicking you so small that you bleed more severely if you cut your cheek while shaving. The fuckface is a lizard apparently because no scars, no nothing. And when people are like, I think that's sitting on some bullshit. I don't think that was an actual attempt. I don't. Call me conspiracy crazy. I don't care. I think that's sitting on some bullshit. Trump went to his next rally wearing a bandage over his ear. What did his followers do every day after that? They all wore a bandage. This is embarrassing. These motherfuckers do not have a bottom. There's no depths that they won't reach for to say, yeah, what seems to be the problem? Right? Now, I've never done cocaine. Doesn't interest me at all. I've got friends who have tried it. I still know people who'll do it recreationally. I'd be lying if I told you I know an addict. But apparently, one of the side effects of long-term usage of nose candy is incontinence. You'll piss on yourself and you'll shit on yourself. And so, you sit there and you look at Donald Trump the pictures from behind, and yeah, it absolutely looks like he's wearing an adult diaper sometimes. And so people are like, he's done so much blow that he literally blew his butthole out. He shits on himself. Then there was, when the fuckface was on trial and had 34 felony convictions upheld, that he would doze off during trial and fart. And apparently it was so bad, it was like, this man's butthole is rotten. There's something wrong with him. And so the talking point became, right, this motherfucker needs diapers. What did Trump supporters go out and do? Right, on the internet, it's like Trump brand diapers. They were literally wearing, adults, gang, were wearing diapers outside of their clothes to show support for their God King. That is embarrassing. That's what I'm saying. We love more than you love life. How do you fight someone who wants to lose? How do you insult someone with no shame? And speaking of felony convictions, again, if Donald Trump went back and got an education degree, completed his rotation, got all his student teaching hours, just simply based on the accusations, no school district would hire Donald Trump. No elementary school, junior high, high school. No, you're not going to be around kids. Go fuck yourself. You've got over 3 dozen sex crime accusations. You are not going to be around my kids. 34 felony convictions. Again, once upon a time, that would not be a source of pride. It wouldn't be. They sell t-shirts. I've seen it. You guys have seen it, I'm sure, where it looks like a voting ticket. And you got a box, and next to that, Joe Biden. Underneath that, a box. The wording is convicted felon with a check mark next to convicted felon. We love more than you love life. That's all I see. And we've just rewritten the script to where this is where we are. Right? Again, how can you insult someone who hates themselves? Once upon a time, these would have been automatic disqualifiers. In 2024, act like this and you become a semifinalist for president of the United States. You guys remember the good old days? You guys remember Howard Dean? Some of you just giggled. I said it then and I'm saying it now. Give me a fucking break. But if you don't know who I'm talking about, Howard Dean is actually, or was, a licensed doctor. The man is intelligent and he ran for president of the United States. He got excited. And that excitement costed him his chance at the White House. What do you mean, Uncle Bobby? Did he jerk off? Did he? I mean, what did he do? What do you mean he got excited? He did this right here. He's doing a rally speech and he's getting the crowd hyped up, right? We're going to go to Texas. Then we're going to go to Florida. Then we're going to take San Antonio. We're going to go to San Francisco. I'm going to campaign in Austin, Texas. I'm going to campaign in Wisconsin. Then we're going to go straight to the White House. Yeah! He was deemed mentally unfit and was drummed out of the race because he said, yeah. You think I'm bullshitting? Look it up. That disqualified that man for running for fucking president. We've got a fuckface with 34 felony convictions. Not only is a good portion of this country going to vote for him, about 25-30% of Americans right now are fence riding. They don't know who to vote for. What the fuck are you looking at? Wasn't it Dan Quayle, I think? And gang, if it wasn't for the power of autocorrect, I would do it. He misspelled potato. You guys remember? And right now, if you put $100 on the table, is it T-O or T-O-E? I can't remember which one he did, but whichever one he picked, it was wrong. They punched holes in that man's intelligent quotient. Thought he was the dumbest motherfucker on the planet. There were commercials making fun of him. How is this motherfucker anywhere near 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue? This is just sitting on some bullshit. How do you misspell potato? Once upon a time, getting excited and misspelling potato was the worst thing that you could possibly do. Donald Trump is sitting there dancing. And again, and that's another thing. Go fuck yourselves. We can't even tell a man that his double-handed Bobert dance looks fucking stupid. They think that he's rocking it out like a Soul Train dancer. But we've got videos of him dancing next to Jeffrey Epstein while pointing at young girls. You ask JD Vance a legitimate question, right? Again, the woman that Donald Trump is fucking her, yes, he is. Laura Loomer. Do you know how fucked in the head you have to be when you're so racist that you lose Marjorie Taylor Greene? Laura Loomer made the comment that if Kamala Harris gets in the White House, the entire White House is going to reek of curry. It's going to sound like a call center. You know, when you get, the marketing call and the guy's name is Paul Jones, but he sounds like this. And you're just like, they asked him about it because the man is married to an Indian woman. But what do you think about that? He had nothing to say. You spineless motherfucker. If someone insulted my wife like that, what do you think I would do to that person? Go fuck yourself. It's like Ted Cruz. If I was married to an Indian woman and someone made a comment like that and they put the microphone in front of my face, uh, you need to lock that bitch up. I don't know who the fuck it is you think you're talking about. You're gonna sit there and make some bullshit ass mark about my woman's race. Go fuck yourself, Laura Loomer. What's wrong with you? No, that's not what JD Vance did. Not at all. In some way, somehow, this is an alpha man, right? I mean, this cannot be our normal gang, but apparently it is. Childless cat ladies. She's obsessed with women's vagina. Yeah, here's yet another conservative making rules about wet ass p words and doesn't know how a wet ass p word works. It just how is this our normal? It's our normal because these fuck faces gain so much momentum that again, we're talking about pancakes. People who aren't just not afraid to lose, they're looking forward to it. They want you to insult them. They want you to call them pieces of shit. So I'm like, even as a fighter, I'm like, how do you fight people like this? I'm confused. Help, hit me up in the comments. A convicted felon, a man found civilly liable of rape in Donald Trump, a documented liar in JD Vance. It's not even his fucking name. When in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't mean anything. But when you stack the shit up, you realize it adds up to something big. You do not turn that kind of a corner. He's just a power hungry piece of shit. Years ago, Donald Trump is a modern day Hitler. He's a piece of shit. If you vote for Donald Trump, fuck you and your family. Now he's got his tongue all the way up his booty hole, talking about women's vaginas, telling them that you pulling a Harrison Butker, you'd be better served making me a motherfucking sandwich, bitch. And I just insulted your wife. Laura Loomer sat there and DEI, and again, fuck you and your DEI. Yeah, you ever notice how DEI is only a topic of conversation when a white person doesn't get the fucking come up? Go fuck yourself. Talking about prominent black women, calling them DEI Shaniquas. And this is who the would-be president of the United States is hanging out with. And when cornered, JD Vance. This bitch is so racist that Marjorie Taylor Greene doesn't want anything to do with her. She's hanging out with the Republican candidate. What's up, baby? I don't think the American public cares about that. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Right? When you're number one, when Donald Trump is hanging out with white supremacists, fucking, how are you going to have a Mexican ass last name and hate minorities? Nick Fuentes, Laura Loomer is Jewish. I mean, go fuck yourselves. Stephen Miller. This is what I'm talking about, gang. When asked, your boss keeps the worst fucking company. Don't you think that's a little flaw in his character, right? Well, let's talk about the economy. What about the stock market? It's never been fucking higher. Shut the fuck up. But I'm gonna stop ranting. But this is just sitting on some bullshit. Again, this cannot be our normal, but alas, it is. Again, the only way we are going to beat this bullshit is to get people to the voting booth. Again, this is not a lesser of two evils conversation. It just isn't. This isn't even political. At this point, this is what kind of person are you, right? You either vote for, again, stay at home, you just voted for Donald Trump. Vote third party, you just voted for Donald Trump. This is not an either or. You've got Kamala Harris, the current vice president, or you've got a piece of shit in Donald Trump and JD Vance. This is not a choice. This is not a choice. But again, I had to get that off my chest. We're just sitting here and like, how do you fight someone who's looking forward to an ass whooping? When you call someone a name and instead of working their ass off to prove you wrong, they just say thank you. This is embarrassing. Americans, I would say we're better than this, but apparently right now we're not. So let's work our ass off. Let's work double time to be better than the fucking bullshit that we're showing the rest of the world that we are. And get out there and vote for Kamala Harris.